Hello everyone, this is Dor. I'm here in Wichita, Kansas University, and today I'm here to talk to you about something they don't really teach you in university, and that's the five bodies. So this distinction comes from possibility management work, and I'm going to talk about in this video about this distinction and more things that I discover over the 4 years that I'm working with possibility management. And so if you don't have this distinction about the five bodies, you might be looking for things in the wrong places. Like, for example, you're trying to look for your keys in the refrigerator, and you go to your car to look for your food in the glove department. What's going on? So this distinction really helped me to gain awareness of the certain foods that each one of my bodies needs, and for the pains and scars that each one of my bodies possess. And the five bodies also have their own certain ecstasies that you can ride on and discover the more you explore this distinction. So this is a great distinction to discover, and you don't need to, please don't believe me in anything I say here. Just hear this out and go explore and experiment and check with yourself and see what of these things are landing in your five bodies after you heard this video. Let's start. So for example, one introduction that you might had for the five bodies happened when you tried yoga for the first time. I don't know if you did, but just hear the story. So you tried yoga for the first time, and after the class you felt more energized, more focused, more relaxed, more clear, with more clarity. And you might not have noticed where is this difference in your system is, like which part of me is feeling more clear or have more relaxation. And maybe after you did it for a while, you practiced it for a while, you realize that that is in my energetic body. There's some body that is more than just my physical body, more than just my mind, that is getting affected by these things. So maybe that's the first time you realize that you have another body, or you have your energetic body. And some of us are not aware of that, and we have this notion that I think, therefore I am. Like I am only my body and my mind, or my intellectual body, as we call it in this five body distinction. So that's might be the first time you learn that you have more bodies. Now, different traditions and culture use different distinctions about that. For example, I heard this three bodies distinction: mind, body, and soul. It's like three bodies. A lot of people use that, especially in the spiritual realms. And some people use mind, body, spirit, where spirit is kind of like this body, but it's kind of mixed. It doesn't really give you clarity, like what is really spirit and stuff like that. And in yoga, for example, Sadhguru yoga, they also use four bodies distinction. For example, they use the physical body, intellectual body, emotional body, and energetic body. So they have four bodies, and they are aware that there are more subtle bodies. Also, I'm aware that there are more subtle body, more than five. But for whatever we can work with, we're gonna work with five. So the five bodies are the physical body, the emotional body, the intellectual body, the energetic body, and the archetypal body. That's the five bodies we have, and let's get into it, what each of them is and what you can really do about it. So the first body is the physical body. And the cool thing about this body is we all have this distinction already that I'm not my body, right? We say my body, or my leg got injured, God forbid, or something like that. We know that's not me. That's not who I am. I have that body, right? So And other than that, we all know that the physical body has certain foods, has certain pains, and has certain ecstasies. So that's the physical body, the first body. The second body, we go into the intellectual body. The intellectual body is what church and institutes and patriarchal organizations over the last few centuries cause us to neglect, it's not the right word, suppress. Like if you were a farmer and you started to think too much, your head would be chopped off, right? If you were part of this spiritual movement, for example, Jewish people that have this book and they follow this intellectual spiritual path, the Roman Empire didn't like it and the church prosecuted them. So it's like you weren't allowed to think for yourself. And that's what made today the intellectual body so important. Now that we are allowed to think, more or less, influenced by and bombarded by all the all the media news, sometimes it feels like we're getting hypnotized and we're not really allowed to use our intellectual body the way it can work. But yeah, today we're like, okay, I can think for myself. So intellectual body is so important. And so many people take pride on that. And actually, in modern culture, we we admire we admire people with huge intellectual baggage or sorry, intellectual mind, and that's that's what we taught to admire these people. Now, intellectual body works on distinguishing, dissecting, like mathematics, double that minus, like mathematics, and it's really used for survival. So if you needed to survive in nature and you needed to put a trap and capture the tiger, so you needed your intellectual body to kind of like distract, and you needed your intellectual body to decide if the trap is in the right or wrong place. Is it good or not? Is it positive or negative? So your intellectual body is really about dissecting between two things and deciding what is better. And that's the problem with the intellectual body, that we use it so much and all we can do is dissect things and we don't really get to feel. And that's the third body, where it's your feelings, emotion, the emotional body. We call it the heart, whatever is in charge of your intimacy, the intimate communication for you with yourself and with other people. And our heart and our feelings and emotion is what, and the emotional body is what navigates us in life, or suppose it's like the tool that was created to navigate us in life. So that's why we have the emotional body, and that's the body that we're missing the most, like the work with. Nobody teaches us, not in university, not in school, nobody teaches us about the emotional body, how to use our feelings, how to heal our emotions. And if you want to hear a little bit more about healing our emotions, you can check out the video that I'm going to attach below about healing stuck emotions from the past, doing an emotional healing process. So that's the emotional body. It's centered around here, and that's the one that we need to work more. Next, you have the energetic body. The energetic body is dancing, moving with the wind, with the rhythm. It's like cycling into a street that is busy and there's cars going all over. So how would you know? How would you know to turn your bike exactly at the right moment? You have the energetic body. Instead of calculating that with your mind, you're not gonna, oh, that car goes 30 miles per hour and a 90-degree angle to me, and You're not going to do that. Your energetic body take care of time, take care of space, and take care of rhythm. Another example, if someone comes too close to you, you're like, oh, you're getting into my personal space. What is that? Your energetic body. Or for example, when you have this delicious meal and suddenly someone, maybe the waiter, waiters do this a lot, they grab your meal in the middle and you're like, what? You just invaded my energetic body. So that's your energetic body. In a lot of traditions like yoga and New Age spiritual cultures, they kind of skip the emotional body and skip straight into the energetic body. Then after the energetic body, maybe you aligned all of your four bodies. And if you aligned all your four bodies, which means your emotional body is working, you're connected to your feelings and to your emotions, and you're connected to your intellectual body, and you feed it, and we're going to talk in a second about how you feed each one of the bodies, and your physical body is balanced, and your energetic body is balanced, then you can operate the fifth body, or the fifth body comes into place and you start to jack into the fifth body. And that might be a long process for a lot of people, especially if you didn't work with even the energetic body before. And so it might be like quite a path to start engaging with each of these bodies and then connected to your archetypal body. But then if all these four bodies got aligned and you got connected to your archetypal body, it's like jacking in to the music. You start to hear the music. It's like connecting your earphones to your iPhone, and then suddenly you hear the music. So then the calling of what you're here for to do in life, you start to feel it in your archetypal body. And I'm doing this, but it's not really anywhere. It's not really in a physical place because it's archetypal, but you can certainly connect to this body and start be connected to certain forces that are beyond our intellectual understanding, and to start understanding what are you here for, what are you taking a stand for, and follow the rabbit hole to go there and do that. And a lot of songs are operating this archetypal in you. I don't know if you ever heard a song and you're like, that's where I need to be. For example, one time I heard a song and I went to the country that the song was made. And I didn't know why, but I just needed to go there and do this thing. And so that's kind of how the archetypal body operates. And I have a video about that. If you want to learn more about the archetypal body, I'm going to attach the link here below. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the foods, the pains, and the ecstasies of each one of these bodies. So the physical body, it's pretty simple. We eat, we have pains when something hits us, and the ecstasy is drinking a lovely orange juice on a spring in the breeze of the Mediterranean Sea in Mayan Beach. And so the intellectual body, the food for the intellectual body is figuring stuff out, solving intellectual problems, and reading books, for example. That can be food for you if the books or the movies that you watch develop you intellectually. They can feed you intellectually, and an ecstasy can be like finding something that you were looking for a long time, or figuring something out with your head that you didn't understand how to figure out for a long time, like solving this problem with something that you solve it intellectually. Like maybe you move something around. I'm having like a puzzle in my head, or let's say you're building a survival shelter, so putting things in place and everything comes together, building a bow. So it's like intellectually figuring things out. That can be an ecstasy sometimes. And emotional body, the pains for emotional bodies have no connection. It's having stuck emotions that you keep, you're not taken care of, or in other words, suppressing your feelings that you have in right now, and you cannot feel your feelings, so you suppress them, and that is very painful. Most of the time when I see people are very in like this dark place, or what we call it, in the swamp, they're kind of in the swamp of their life, it's because they don't allow themselves to feel the pain that they have in their feelings, their sadness, their anger, their fear, their joy. So that can be the pains of the emotional body, and the ecstasy of the emotional body can be like a great space of connection with someone. You share your intimacy, you share what you feel with someone, and they repeat it. They complete the communication to you, and it feels ecstatic, and speaking from your heart can be one of those things. Or dragon speaking, we teach that in rage clubs, to do dragon speaking. So you speak in this from your heart and from your whole being, and you use your emotions to do it, and that gives you this emotional uh, ecstasy. So in your energetic body, physical foods can be like dancing, or that can be also like physical body, but also sometimes it's energetical body, like taking a dip in a frozen river. Oh, no, no, no. Taking a dip in the ocean, and, and just feeling how it cleanses your energetic body, and riding a bicycle, or yeah, doing a Sufi dance, and an ecstasy of that can be in your energetic body, that things fall into place and you're in the right time, in the right place where you need to be, or you get into this like flow. Do you know these times where you just get into this flow and everything happens, and energetically, time and space, everything feels so perfect that it's like ecstatic. And that can be an energetic ecstasy. And there's a lot more of example for these foods and ecstasies. You can watch all of them and read. It's a really great website by Possibility Management about the five bodies. I'm going to add the link below. And foods for the archetypal body can be serving your archetypal purpose and taking a stand for what you're taking a stand for. For example, I'm holding spaces for transformation for people, and every time I hold space like that, for like a rage club, for example, I feel this ecstasy in my archetypal body. It's more than food, it feeds me, but it's also being in this space of archetypal space that creates archetypal intimacy, where love is happening in the space and winning is happening in the space. It's such a beautiful space to be, that I can really cry right now just from remembering in that. So maybe in your life you've been in spaces like that, or if not, you're welcome to start exploring and discover how you can activate the archetypal body, or each one of these bodies, to align them more. And I hope this distinction helps you. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment them below, or ask me any questions, send me messages. I'm here for that. Thank you. See you next time.